So this is going to be Thursday, August 12th, and we're going to do a quick review of B points, because not all of my classes have got off of the B point stuff. And then we're going to get into the starting of the notebook and then a few little bonus things in between to sort of make stuff fun from there. Last night was the parent night, and I got a chance to meet a lot of them, which was entertaining for me. I enjoyed it at least. From there, let's see. From here, for you guys, we're going to activate here in just a moment and make things official. How many points do you have right now?
15.
What month do you get new ones?
October.
Nicely done. If a kid is talking to you and you don't want to lose points, what do you have to do?
Put your hand in their face.
The home children, they're all throwing hands in each other's faces in the door. It looks like they're high-fiving and missing. It's just adorable. They're like, I'm not good at it. And their hands are going out like that. We're trying not to mock them to their faces. You can throw things as long as they go where? Did we talk about swatting yesterday?
Yes.
So if you swat, which kid loses the points?
The swatter.
The swatter, nicely done. The swatter is the one that loses points. Oh, there's a force field in my room. Where's the force field?
Around your desk.
What happens if you go behind my desk?
You get crushed by an anvil and then die.
That's oddly specific, but yes, metaphorically, you're going to get crushed, and internal death may happen, maybe not external death. If you don't have a thing that you're supposed to have for class, what do you give me to borrow?
A shoe.
The shoe thing from there, or you can buy a new one. How much to buy a new one?
3.
And to that one, let's see, we covered that one, the 3 points one, and then following down. Class directions, you guys did, already thing from there, make sure you do that bit, and we're good to go there. Class directions. Homework assignment, let's jump onto that one. How many points do you lose for not doing homework?
3.
What other thing do you lose for not doing homework?
Your chair.
How long do you lose your chair?
Until you complete the homework.
Assignment.
If a classroom of zombies were to talk to me, what would it sound like? No, the sound you're making this whole time, you sound like zombies. As I realize I'm going, you're just like, they take your shoe, you're gonna have to stand, man, things are going to happen. Like, I'm pretty sure if I taught zombies, it would sound exactly like you guys right now. Like, there is no inflection bumpy things at all. I'm assuming it's because my energy just absorbs it all from you guys. You're just like, and it's getting pulled out of you, but whatever. Just letting you know, you're a little reminiscent of zombies right now, except for the whole wanting to eat brains thing, because it's going off the fact that you guys just might not have brains. And so the whole thing, I thought maybe if I attacked you just a little bit, it would let you guys show emotion, but I attacked you and you guys just went blink, blink. And so apparently there was not a lot of emotion coming from that one either. So they have to do the homework anyway, so we covered that one. Let's see then. The writing utensil. Let's go with, you can buy a writing utensil. How much does it cost?
3
Except for a fancy one is going to be?
5.
Nicely done. And then, if you don't, and what's special about my writing utensils that you get to borrow?
They're pre-textured.
Pre-textured, and then you can, the ones you buy are not pre-textured. I don't sell those. Even if you wanted to, I don't sell those because those are for me. If you want to borrow a normal writing utensil from me, when do you have to tell me?
At the beginning of class.
Nicely done. So make sure you tell me at the beginning of class. If you click a writing utensil, what's going to happen to it?
You're going to snatch it.
You're going to take it and chuck it behind your desk.
Nicely done. That was a very number of different answers on that one, and all of them fairly accurate, unless I like you. Then what happens?
You
You just
aggressively
stare at us
stare.
and
Whoa.
it freaks us out.
I don't know about the aggressively stare. I think it's more of a low-key staring. You might feel aggressive on your end, but that's like a you issue. I think an aggressive stare would be like, like right in Anika's face. Like, that's an aggressive stare. Like, right now, part of her just died. That would be aggressive. By the way, Anika just realized that she really wants to get to 50 points because she was like, I'm getting out of here! And she's going to get far away because I've demonstrated an aggressive stare. What I do is just an intimidating stare. So it makes a difference. This is also where Allison's really happy that she's one seat over, because if I had just been standing there, you would have received the aggressive stare, and you're welcome. Thank you for entertaining me. That brought me joy. Let's see, then there, and then again, I will non-aggressively stare at you, and to help make you a better person from there. Leaving the room costs how many points?
3.
Nice. Oh, I realized the kids at home. Hang on 1 second.
4 hall pass.
Yeah, the kids at home, they didn't even get to watch my aggressive staring or Anika dying on the inside. But to act out at home, I just put my hands like, hang on. There you go. That was my aggressive stare for those of you at home. I can actually feel some of your souls leaving right now. And then coming into me is delicious. If you don't want to use B points, what can you use instead?
Hall pass.
Oh,
How many times can you use the hall pass?
3 times.
By the way, apparently, anytime you have to answer a question in my room and it deals with a number, what is the most likely number it's going to be?
3.
I just realized that people are like, 3, 3, 3, 3. I was like, apparently, 3 is the magic. And when do you get new hall passes?
October.
Nice from that one. And then we talked about my clipboard. This is where I keep track of all the things on there. What's on the back side of my clipboard?
Hello Kitty and the bumblebees.
Nicely done, because again, it's going to bring you happiness and joy and instead of the sadness of me aggressively staring at you. And we covered it there, and then we got to the happy kid things. This is where you can bring in the smash cans, as Kira has already done, by the way. Kira gets to flex on all of you because she's already ahead of all the rest of you, so good job, Kira, with your flexing. And then so there, you can do the book reviews, Paul plugs, stuff like that. And I talk about every week you don't lose points, what happens?
You earn 1.
There you go. And then you go 2 weeks, it goes up to 2. For those of you who are goody good kids, then just existing and not freaking out, you gain points every week. So you can just gain points by being a normal human. And then do the homeworky things, and then passing the quiz, extra homework options, I think we're good to go. Student of the week should begin after next week, because there's a thing I have to do before we get to start student of the week, and fingers crossed that should be next week. And then student of the month will be until the end of August, which is a long time from now. All right, so we covered into that. And questions as far as gaining points, yay. And then the Simpson sheet thing, I have, starting next week, if you want to get one from me, you can. Home children, that's what it looks like from there. And then you can also, if you don't want to get one from me, you can just print them off of Canvas. And you can also find them on there. And I'll probably walk you through Canvas tomorrow or Monday. One of those days, I'll walk you guys how my Canvas page thing works. You can print your own. If you get a Simpson sheet from me, you have to do it. So if you choose to take one from me, it becomes homework, and you have to do it. And then if you don't do it, I get to torture you because then you haven't done a homework assignment. If you print it off of Canvas on your own, I have no idea that you printed it, so it does not become homework. That becomes that responsibility thing. And that's mostly because I have kids who just waste paper. Because they're like, I want a Simpson sheet. I want a Simpson sheet. It just drives me nuts. So if you take one from me, you have to do a Simpson sheet. And then again, Struggle Town, I will going off of some of my later class periods, I'm going to have to build a Struggle Town because some of those kids are already struggling with life. And so I'm going to probably have a desk here and then probably move a desk over to this spot and have kids who are going to be like all right up here in front of me. Again, my little zombies, I'm guessing with you, it's not as much of an issue unless you get hungry and try to eat a child's brain. But other than that, you guys just seem to just stare at me. And then to there, then Struggle Town, good to go, serve attention. Then my Struggle Town. When I get to have my room back, I get to have my Struggle Town right there, so I get to happily educate and smack children and stuff like that. And then, look at that guy. And one little Struggling Town thing from there. And then gaining points. That officially begins next week. Like if you didn't lose points this week, you're out of luck because you couldn't really lose points for the whole week. We're not activating it until today. If you make it through all of next week, then you start getting your free B points and stuff like that. Questions as far as the B point thing goes. All right. And for you guys, they are officially activated as of now. Your poor choices can now officially haunt you. Prior to this, you could have just turned around and smacked a child. And I would have been like, bad you. You've been like, ha 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 ha. Just ran away. I mean, not you guys. You've been like, ha 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 ha. But, sorry, mocking you just brings me joy. You're going to have to live with it. But now, the poor choices will cost you points, like throwing a thing in my room, which is what first period kids did. Apparently, they went just straight to pushing buttons. They're like, they're activated? Game on! Then they just started throwing things. I was like, what's wrong with you? They're like, I didn't think you'd do it. I was like, I didn't think you'd do it. Apparently, we were both wrong. Okay, now we get to the new stuff with you. Nicknames. So I've discovered over the years of teaching that apparently many of your parents failed in the naming process of you. It wasn't their fault, they're just natural failures. And whatever name they gave you is not the correct one. And as I get to know you and I get to go into your little child's soul, that sounded creepier than I thought. And as I get connect with your, no, I'm going to go right into your soul. I'm going to figure out that the name that you use is not your correct name, and I will help pull out your correct name, and then I will be telling you what it's going to be, and you'll get a new name in my class. Not every kid gets a nickname. Some of your parents were not failures, and they did a good job coming up with whatever your particular name was. What kind of nicknames will it be? It depends. Like, I might look at you and you're like, John. Nope, you're a Julio. And I can just tell that inside of you there's a Julio just wanting to come out. But it might not be a normal name. Like some of my 8th graders who have written things over here, like I have Bagel and Flippy and Penguin and stuff like that. And it's just sometimes your name might just not be a normal name. That's not my fault, that's your fault. That name is in your heart wanting to come out. And if you get a name, it does not mean I like you. I have a lot of kids who I want to strangle, who their parents just failed in the naming process, and so then I have to rename them. And then other kids who are my favorite kid might never get a nickname because their parents did a good job. You also can't choose your own nickname and just be like, my parents call me Bubba. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So you're not going to get a chance to choose your own. It just depends on your soul speaking to me. Although, if I give you a nickname, and your soul speaks to me, and you don't like what your soul has told me. Like if I'm like, your name is gonna be Susan, and you're like, no, not Susan, then just tell me. But you need to tell me quickly, because again, there's a lot of crazy up here, and because I've already know all your names, and so once I replace your name, it gets locked into my head. And if you wait a month to be like, now you keep calling me Susan, that makes me cry at night. And I'm like, well, you're out of luck now because it's locked in. So you need to tell me like as soon as it starts bothering you. When I rename you, it becomes your new name in class. I will forget and get rid of whatever your original name was because that is your old dead name. And so you can start using it in class. You can start writing it on assignments. When I talk to your parents, I will be using this new name, so it'll be a good thing that you tell them, because if not, it makes for some really awkward conversations. When I'm like, Penguin's doing great in class, and they're like, who's Penguin? And I'm like, who are you talking about? And so just go ahead and let them know this is your name and that you need to embrace it. It's up to you to break it to them gently that they failed. However you want to approach that part with them, be like, I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, you're failures. My teacher told me. And so we get a chance to go from there. You'll also know when you have a nickname when I look at you and keep calling you this name. So when I keep going, Jiggles, Jiggles, and you're like, who are you talking? And I'm like, you're Jiggles. And you're like, okay. And so that's how you'll know that the naming process has begun. Questions aside from, are you crazy? Because the answer is, yeah. All right. Sam.
Can we give you a nickname?
All the time, probably. Usually just put Mr. in front of it, and then there's all kinds of fun things that follow the mystery bits. And if you've had older siblings come through here, you don't have the same nickname as them because you're a different person than who they are. And so your soul words are hard, speaks to me in a different way. And so you get to have whatever name your soul speaks to me in that way. All right. Whoa, and when will nicknames begin? Any moment. Now that I know who you are and your souls have started speaking to me and we have this thing going, then as your names start coming to me, I'll just let you guys know as your souls start communicating with me. Sometimes it happens over today, sometimes over the next week. For others of you, it might be months from now. It might be all of a sudden we get to December. And I'm like, Bitsies. And you're like, who? And I'm like, you're Bitsies. You finally spoke to me. And you're like, yes, my soul. And we get a chance to bond. And so it just sort of depends as the year goes along. By the way, this is a lot of what your parents did last night too. It was a lot of laughing and then staring at me, then laughing and then staring at me. It was a great bonding process. Over yonder, and then hang on. Home children, I'm going to show you a thing also. Aww. Sorry, I just got a random message from the kid. Let's see, home children. Aha! So, calendar thing over here, I am going to be using here and in my real room when I get my real room back. I always use this little calendar-y thing for you. Here's why I pointed out to you. The yellow sheet. What was the point of the yellow sheet?
To follow directions.
Nicely done. Oh, by the way, when I just ask a random question, I don't need you guys to raise your hand. I hardly ever do the hand raising thing. If I just ask a question, I'm expecting you guys just to yell the answer back. zombily say the answer back to me. And so if I need you guys to raise hands, I just go into your souls and we'll pull it from you. So just you again, be brave enough to zombie at me with whatever little voices you have going. Yellow sheet, follow directions. Here's why I tell you that. Over here, I never surprise you with homework or quizzes. They'll always be written over there for you. So anytime there's going to be a homework or a quiz, it's going to be written in like this pink or red or something like that to try and get your attention. If it's assigned on a day, it's going to have a little square around it on that day. Like Tuesday, I assign the yellow sheet. Today, I'm hoping to assign class names. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to assign the 5 fun picks thing. If it's due on that day, it's going to be over here in this area where it's going to have a spot. So like picture due was on that day. Yellow sheet due on that day. Here you can see, is anything due today? No. Anything due tomorrow?
No.
So you can look over there. Here's why I'm telling you that. If you come into class and go, Mr. Broviak, is there homework due today? All I hear you go is, Mr. Broviak, I'm too lazy to read. Will you torture me? And the answer is, of course I will. That brings me happiness and joy. And so what I will do is just make up a random assignment and see if I can convince you to do it. Because I'm assuming if you're dumb enough to ask me, then you might be dumb enough to do a random thing I give you. And I'm really good at lying to kids. I'm a professional child liarist. And so when you say, is there homework today? I'll go, yeah. Yesterday you had to write the 5 paragraphs about your favorite pet. We're getting ready to stand up and start reading them. I think you volunteered to go first. Are you guys ready to go? The smart kids in class will nod their heads and go, there's a thing due today. Because you're going to look around going, why? And then if you're smart enough, eventually you'll look over at the board and go, but it's not written over there. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Why would you ask me? You just let me torture you. So don't ask me if I'm assigning homework, because if you do, I'm assuming you're requesting me to assign homework, so I will give you a special homework assignment that the other kids don't have. And then don't ask if one is due, because again, I will just make up one. If you want to make it much easier, look over there. Or ignore me and just go, Mr. Broviak, I cheated on the yellow sheet. You can't make me learn. And I'm like, oh, go you. Game on. Questions as far as that goes? More zombie staring. Okay, good job. Now it's time to begin. Have out notebooky thing. Home children. You're going to want to have notebooky thing, that notebooky thing like this, and this is the thing we're going to begin working on now, is notebooky thing here. So, if you don't have Sharpie thing, I can toss you Sharpie thing. And so if you need, like, if you have like a blue notebook and you don't want, like Anika, who, I'm not attacking you yet, has a blue notebook, she probably doesn't want to have blue marker, just let me know, and I can toss them to you. I recommend catching them with your hands and not your face, but that's going to be up to you. Some of you guys are not skilled. When you write on it, you're going to write my name, your name, first and last, both names, and then also do the English and the heroes bits. So write that, and then anyone else need one? And to there. Be strong, Kira. And to there. Let's go. We'll see. If you have, like Kira's, if it doesn't show up, let me know, and I have a way that we're going to do it instead. So let's try red and see how that goes. That's embarrassing for one of us. And I'm trying to see what color your notebook is. Black. Let's try the green for you. Mia, yours is red. We'll give you blue. Don't you swap that, because no. I know you would never do it, Carter. It's such a silly shot. So the others of you, does anyone else need one for me to chuck a hand out carefully to you? So, also write as large as possible. Write big. Because you want to make this really easy for people to find. Because when you leave it somewhere, if you ever lose this notebook, you're going to have to start your notebook all over again, and it's going to bring you sadness. So you're going to want to make sure that you write it really big on there. And then, draw arrows to it if you want, whatever you want to do to try and bring attention to it in some way. But here's the part where you should be writing this now. First name, last name, my name, all of those. By the way, the reason my name's on there is because for some reason, everyone in the school seems to know who I am. I have no idea. But if you lose the notebook and they see my name on it, they will get it back to me. And then if I see your name on it, I will get it back to you. But if your name's not on it, then I don't know who you are. And then the English and the heroes is to help you. You definitely want to have the English on there, so that way when you're quickly looking in there, you can tell which class it goes to, and that way it saves you from having to spend points to go back to your locker. The heroes is just to make things easier on you from there. All right. Have I properly wasted time to have you guys all write things on the outside, and now you feel strong. This is the whole direction following thing. All right. And then don't steal my markers. Make sure I get them back from you. For a second, Kira, I saw it in your eyes. You considered it. Don't you give me that look. I don't need you in honesty. This is school. There, everyone else is good. I have children back there. We're still waiting. Not even close, huh? Just gonna. No. Hi, Allison. What's up?
Can we sell you like pencils and Sharpies and stuff? For your
Um,
class?
You would think so, but here's the problem. I don't have to buy any of them because there's this magical place called the hallway. All I do is step out into the hallway and go 5 steps in either direction, and it's like a kid just went, and they just go everywhere. So I literally just walked down all halls just picking them up, and I have a giant bag of them just from random kids. If someday you can make all of 7th graders become responsible enough to not poop stuff out in the hallways, then yes. But until that day, I have more than I know what to do with. I have so many pens and pencils I collect, I give them to other teachers because there's so many. Carter.
One of the people in my math class has already lost like 17 pencils.
Right? I don't even know how to have, like literally, like any kid that needs a writing utensil for my class, I'm like, just go in the hallway. You just walk out there and go, wah, oh, there's 3, and you can just find them. They're like everywhere. So yeah, it's fun stuff. All right, so now let's go to our next piece. All right, so open up your notebook. So you have the front cover, and then you have all the pages. And then like flatten it in front of you. Flatten. So you're looking at it there. All right. I don't like this front page. So we are going to cross it out. Not the cover one, but the ones that has the liney stripy ones. You're going to cross that one out. I can demonstrate. Demonstrate. Giant X on that page. I don't care if you're using pen or pencil. You're just going to put a giant X on it. Pretend you're spelling xylophone and stop after the first letter. Most helpful thing ever. You're welcome. All right. Now, I had some kids in the past like, Mr. Brovicast, if you hate that page, why don't we tear it out? I'm like, that's genius. Tear that page out. Then you get to the next page. I'm like, oh, is that the first? That's the new first page. Tear that one out. There's the new first. And they got the whole notebook. And I'm like, are you out of first pages? Uh-huh. Yeah, that's why you don't tear it out. So we just put an X on it instead. Because if you tear it out, then the next one becomes the front page. But some kids are special little monkey children. All right. So now we're going to be writing things. Turn one more page. And we're going to be creating a table of contents on the inside of that front page there. For those of you who are like, Mr. Brovicast, I can't see very well with my little squinty eyes. I understand you not being able. So here, I can help focus it for you. Does that help? Now you can see it up there. It's the same thing. Mr. Brovicast, I still can't see it because I'm a whiny child. I can focus it for you. Watch this. And it focused right in. I have a machine in my hand. He's magic. He's a witch. And so here's what you're going to be doing for it. You're writing table of contents homework on the left, table of contents bell work on the right. When you do it, it goes all the way at the tippy-toppy bits. Tippy-toppy bits. Tippy-toppy. Then, you're going to, below that one, there's like the little red pinky line. And you're going to put the word date all the way over on there, where it says date, as in someday I'm going to go on a date. And then you have a red line, and you come over one, and then you're going to put the word number. Don't write a number. Don't just write down like 1, 3, 5, 6. Just write the word number. And then you go across to the middle bits, and you're going to write the word title. And then you're going to have like this faint pink line, which is like the red line on the other side coming through. You're going to go to the other side of that, and you're going to write page, P-A-G-E. And then I am going to awkwardly come around and see how badly you're messing it up. Home children, you're going to work on this, but I'm going to pause because if not, it's going to get real boring real fast. Pausey. On the other side, you're going to do the same thing again, but table of contents bell work, and you're going to do the same thing with the date, the number, the title, the page. So do table of contents homework, table of contents bell work, both sides. All right. Now, you have created your first table of contents. So what you're going to do now is turn the page. And do it again. Same thing. So there's two of them. So you have onesies and then twosies. So the exact same thing. You can look up there, or you could look back at your previous one if you did it correctly. And again, I'm going to come around and creepily stand above the top of you. Home children, you're just working on this. You can pause if need be as I creepily walk around over children. Creeping on my children is what I do. Moving to my next part. For those of you still working, that's fine. You don't have to give me flary eyes. All right, and then to there. So now you did your first one. Good job. And you turn the page. You did your second one. Good job. Now turn the page. I know you're excited. What's it gonna be? It can be anything. It's gotta be. It's a third one. So we're gonna now hang on before you freak out. Like Mr. Brovicast is the whole notebook table of contents. And while that would be a fun game, to just spend like the whole next week going, turn the page, do it again, turn the page, do it. Just 3. So I'm officially gonna lock it in for you. See right there, giant screen would never lie to you, unlike me who lies to you nonstop. So you're gonna do a total of 3 of them. Uno, dos, 3.
Try.
This is school. It has no place for logic and learning. It's gracious. What's wrong? One of us is crazy. All right, and then there. So you do the three things. All right. And then home children. I'm actually going to stop here because the bell is going to ring in a moment. So we're going to have to end that. And so if you did that one, go you home children. Nicely done. Tomorrow, we're going to get into more fun things. We'll finish the notebook. We're going to do our first homework assignment in the notebook tomorrow. We're going to do a bell work assignment in the notebook tomorrow. And maybe a couple other things tomorrow. We're going to see from there. All right, on that. Bye, dead children. Or not dead children. Or someday to be dead children. Or whatever. Oh, home children. I hope you didn't get to hear my song because it was paused. Anyway, you're missing my really fun song anyway. It's called the Creeping on Children song. You can look for it on Spotify. I put it out when I was in college. You can look for my college rap name.